This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
It's in! Campbell comes off the bench to be a hero! A superhero! Breakthrough! It's taken a while! It's been worth the wait!
To mark a new beginning. We are the ones of the spoken word. We are the ones who keep the planet spinning. And yes, one day we will rule the world.
Hey guys, I'm Si and welcome to ACE Podcast Nation, the home of the Andy Campbell Football Show. We are live on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter, ACE Podcast Nation. Of course, you're home to many great shows and series featuring top guests, expert analysts and more. So please do give us a follow on social media, subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the bell for notifications. And of course, if you prefer your podcast in audio form, you can get all the podcasts that we produce, including any new content which is coming your way, new series and whatnot, and returning series, of course, which can be made available at the Sports Social Podcast Network, the UK's first sports podcast network. Find all our shows and series there. Just check them out. Give them a little follow. Tell them we sent you at Sports Social on. At Sports Social Official, I think, or the Sports Social on social media, and sport.social.co.uk website. Check it everywhere. And very, very brief Super 6 update. It's pretty much the same from Monday because no one's done anything. But we're, of course, supporting two great charities, Maggie Centre, which is a cancer charity, and Mind, which is a mental health charity. And we're doing that by getting involved in a Super 6 football prediction league, which you can join, compete against many ex-Cardiff City players, as well as myself and a whole group of other people. I think there's 90 people in total. And we had, I think the current leader is Gareth Price at the top of the table with 47 points. But there's still time to get involved. There's £540 in the prize pot, and we've also raised £800 for charity already. We just need to make sure myself and Andy don't forget to enter our predictions. But still get involved. Contact Will Melush in the live chat, and also there's a group in the links in the description below. And of course, as ever, a big thank you to Black Diamond Sports for all their support around the show and the channel. Black Diamond Sports is a global sports agency who represents sports stars from around the world. For more information, you can visit their social media pages and their website. The links are in the description below. Today's sponsor, as ever, very proud to say, Darren Ralston and Bespoke Financial, being the sponsor of AC Footy Show and Andy Campbell Championship Show for a very long time. And Darren is giving away a free will worth £140 with any new policy which is taken out. Please do check him out. Give him a call. Do not miss out on an incredible offer. Give him a ring. Tell him we sent you. And then if you take out any of their services, you get £140 will with any new policy which is taken out. What is not to like about that deal? And of course, they provide award-winning service. And we are proud to partner with such a top-class brand. But with no further ado, I am joined this evening by the new Middlesbrough women's football team manager, Mr. Andy Campbell. How are you, sir? And congratulations.
Thanks, mate. No, means a lot. Busy. I'm just pleased to just be sat down for a little bit. This week's been a bit of a whirlwind, to say the least, but very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been a whirlwind week. It's even for me, and it's nothing to do with me. Like, just because obviously the news came out of the blue. I think we were talking only probably 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, and you were kind of saying you weren't really looking for a job within football in terms of like management and coaching and things like that. I'm assuming, but I'll ask the question, I'm assuming there's only probably 1, maybe 2 clubs that could have tempted you out of that sort of thought process. Tell us how it came about and what made you take the job.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't think there was 2. I think there was probably only this one which was going to entice me into it. I think it's very different than what I've normally been involved in. Women's football was appealing for various reasons. You know what I mean? How big the game's getting within the women's game, with the World Cup coming around the corner as well. It's only going to grow. It's only going to get bigger. And to be honest, my first contact was Monday, Tuesday, and it was just since then it's just been silly. I had a big decision to make, and it's just been it's been a tough time just to make the decision, but at the same time it was a no-brainer, because it's something that, yes, because it came out of the blue, it was an opportunity that couldn't turn down because of the size of the club, the opportunity for me personally, the opportunity for the club, and where I want to get that club on the map as well. So I think it's win-win for everybody. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, somebody had to lose the job, which is not nice. I've been there myself within football, and it's not a nice feeling for players and for the individual himself. But I'm sure they'll get back into football as soon as possible. But for me personally, it's given me an opportunity to do something which like I said, I couldn't turn down. Took training last night, thoroughly enjoyed it, loved being back in the grass, put my ideas into place, and got the first game on Sunday against West Brom. And can't wait, I'll be honest, I can't wait. I've got those butterflies again, the nerves, the excitement. But yeah, it's all going to be very different. But come Saturday night, Sunday morning, I'll be looking forward to, really excited.
Yeah, and I think, like, you've been over the various shows we've done over the last couple of years, like, you've been clearly very passionate about women's football. You've got us a couple of female footballers as guests. That's not something I don't think that I would have necessarily even thought about. I think that did, I don't mind saying, that came completely from you, and kind of we've had a few really, really good shows with those female footballers, really interesting stuff. So the passion is clearly there for women's football. Like you said before, your daughter plays academy football and whatnot as well. So that passion for women's football, plus the natural pull-in of your hometown team, it must have been almost like a perfect, like a match made in heaven, isn't it? It's like the perfect storm, I guess.
Listen, I think all of the things you just mentioned there just went into a pot, and that I think it made it more of a decision that when I was starting, my daughter plays football at a good level for Middlesbrough. You know what I mean? I know the chairman, I know the club, I know some of the players. I've watched a lot of women's football, and I've watched it grow. I know how big it is. I know how big it can be. I know how big it probably should be. And just let's see what happens. It's I know Donna's asking the question there about the FA Cup. Yeah, we play in the FA Cup. I know last year I think they won a couple of rounds and got beat by Sheffield United. So listen, I want the club to be on the map. I want people to know all about the club, all about the area, and you know what I mean. It's about putting this club, for me, on the map where it can be. You know what I mean. I've got aspirations and dreams to have a good, solid link with the men's team. I believe it's first and foremost one of those important things that they've got that every women's team should have, like I've said all along, with all the top sides. So for me, Middlesbrough's no different, and I'd like that as soon as possible. I'd like all the people to turn up on Sunday and support the girls, not me. I want to support the girls and show them how important it is for them to have backing, because there's nothing better than playing in front of a crowd. You know what I mean? Regardless of how small it is, how big it is, but I'd love people to turn up and show the support to back them, because they deserve it. You know what I mean? What a good, solid bunch of girls they are, women they are, and an opportunity for them to just to enjoy their football and play with no pressure at the weekend, and hopefully get a positive result.
So for those who don't know, in terms of the Middlesbrough women's team. Is that directly linked to Middlesbrough? Because it does get a bit confusing. Some clubs are linked where the women's team is part of the men's side. Some teams are completely separate. It does get a bit confusing. Is the Middlesbrough team linked to the main football or the men's football club?
We are in good conversations. We've had initial talks. I'm hoping to progress those forward and hope that I can use my link and my network with the football club and get there. Because for me, I think it's the only transition I think which is going to help. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the club's got to dictate and help and do everything what they do for the men's team and for the first team, but for me, just having that direct link will help network and help push this club into the direction that I know the chairman wants, and certainly I want as well.
Yeah, 100%. And in terms of the players, so you've had a couple of training sessions now. Have you managed to at least? I'm assuming you were relatively familiar with some of them anyway, because you follow women's football, and I'm assuming you follow Middlesbrough, especially so. In terms of the players and things like that. Did you, so here's, rather than that question, I'm going to change it slightly. So when you knew you were getting the job, but before you did your first training session, did you have like a team maybe in your head that you thought might be your starting lineup? And has that changed during the training sessions? I'm not asking you to like name the players and things like that, of course, but just from a point of view of what you had in your head and then you've seen them train, has maybe people stepped up and impressed you, or?
Obviously, I knew the names. Putting faces to names has been probably the hardest thing. You know what I mean? Because seeing them on a match day, sometimes on game day, is different to seeing them sometimes in training a little bit more relaxed. So it's nice to see them training. They've certainly impressed me in the last two sessions. Really excited for the weekend. A few people who haven't been playing have certainly put themselves in the shop window to play the weekend, or to at least be involved at the weekend if they haven't been before. And listen, this is just my opinion. If I can get a positive result of the weekend, I'll be happy for the club and for the girls themselves. You know what I mean? And for it looks like I'm doing a good job, but it is what it is. I'm looking to obviously strengthen the club, make us better, whichever way and means that is possible. But obviously I want to see what we've got first, and I think the only fair way to do that is see obviously the girls in a game situation and a competitive game, and it doesn't get any more competitive than the West Bromwich Albion game at the weekend. So it's going to be probably a baptism of fire. It's going to be a competitive game, but one that I'm relishing, and I'm hoping that everyone else is ready for it as well.
And what about in terms of you, like obviously as a manager now, will you change anything about yourself, the way you conduct yourself, the way you speak to referees or from the sideline, anything like that? Anything which you think you would perhaps do differently to what you would if you were just watching as a fan?
I think I've mellowed a little bit over since my last encounter with management. I think I've learned a hell of a lot about myself. I've obviously been through a lot personally in that time as well, which has probably made me understand life a little bit better and the meaning of probably how much football probably means to me as well. So listen, I'm fully ready and fully know exactly how I need to do things and how I need to handle myself as well. I think it's really important that I do it right and I take it as seriously as possible. And that's in order to get my backroom staff the way that I want it shaped and everything. So it's really important, really important. And just the comments alone, like obviously Craig's had a wonderful managerial career. If I can achieve a quarter as much as Mr. Harrison has, then that'll be absolutely amazing, because he's a phenomenal person, but an unbelievable manager as well. But on that note, and Craig will still be watching, by the way, I know he put it out on social media. Can I just say from everybody in the show and all the people watching that our sincere condolences, because Craig lost his mum over the weekend. So Craig on tonight and put a comment in. Fair play to you, mate.
100% condolences, Craig. Andy as well, the hard-hitting questions as always from us. Rob Boyle wants to know, most importantly, are you a suit or a tracksuit manager?
Oh no, I'll always be. I'll always wear a tracksuit. I love wearing a pair of shorts. No, any excuse to get my legs out, to be fair. Get a bit of sun. no, listen, it's in accordance to the level where you know what I mean, and I don't know what other managers and coaches do, but for me, I like to be comfortable, so I will be wearing tracksuit or shorts, shorts and a tracksuit.
And excuse my ignorance, mate. But what league do the Middlesbrough women's team play in?
We're in the Northern Premier League, so it's basically you've got WSL, and then you've got the Championship, and then you've got our league. So we get promoted out of this league.
When do you get promoted?
Yeah, it won't be this year, I don't think, with how things have progressed on so far this season. But I think the vision is that we want to get out of this league. Listen, the vision is that the club wants to go as high as it possibly can, and if I can play my role and play my part, then I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully I can bring some success to the girls and to the football club, because that's why I took the position to give something back and to achieve something.
I think I speak for everyone who's watched these shows over the last couple of years up to now, is that you've shown an incredible knowledge, not just of football generally, but just of tactics and insight, both from your own career. But as we watched football and we're going along and we talk about things, you'll pick up on things that I might not have seen and other people might not have seen. If you're able to implement that knowledge and that tactical know-how to the players, I've got absolutely no doubt that you'll get promoted. You'll go on and do a phenomenal job. No doubt.
And I think,
about that.
listen, I think you learn that from your mistakes. I think, and I think probably one of the other reasons maybe said that I wanted to get involved is after I got my fingers burnt in my last job, I probably fell out of love a little bit with football, and then having an opportunity handed to me on a plate was something that I've got unfinished business now. You know what I mean? So for me, this is an opportunity to show that I still can do what I said I could do, and do it better than I did. You know what I mean? I let myself down potentially with certain aspects of what I did. So I think it's a chance to show people that I can still do it.
Andy, and as what we all want to know is this the end of your over 40s playing career?
No, of course it's not. No, I say I don't get to exercise as much as I probably need to or want to or have to. I think when you get over 40, it's more important than ever to keep healthy and stay fit. And unfortunately, for my family, I'm going to have to keep playing because I love playing. Because it's played a huge part. You know what I mean? And yes, there might be the odd time that I might not be able to with certain things. But no, I'm playing tomorrow. Get me aggression out of my system, ready for Sunday.
Yeah, 100%, mate. In terms of how can I word it? I suppose in terms of your backroom staff, I haven't had the call yet, so I'm still waiting for that. But I'm sure it'll come. It's probably just lost in the post. But if that's something you were able to select yourself, or was that kind of, is it sort of something that is there already, or like did you get?
No, listen, I've been very lucky. I've been very lucky. The chairman's given me a blank canvas to do basically what I want, and that's with my backroom staff. That's with the team, bringing people in and whatnot. But yeah, I've got a blank canvas. I've got an opportunity to bring the right people in, or personally, assistant manager, coaches in, and that's going to take time, because what I didn't want to do is go down a route of bringing somebody in who I was friends with, and it looked from an outsider that it wasn't the right person to bring in. I want someone who knows the environment, who knows the system, who knows the league, who knows the players, and I believe that right person will be just around the corner somewhere.
Spot on, mate. I like it. Obviously, the comments are full of people wishing you luck and whatnot. Look, I would urge you to go back through the comments at the end of the show, because there's a lot of people watching and commenting and stuff, and have a look. There's too many for me to even keep track of, let alone put up on the screen and stuff like that. Of course, one of the main questions which I've had about a million times from various people in messages, you've had, I know, and people are asking it now, is what's going to happen with the show. So I'll pass that over to you to start with. and you can kind of go from there.
This was probably the hardest conversation I think that I had to have over this past week. There was some very easy conversations, and one difficult conversation in particular with you on Tuesday night. And you know what I mean? There's opportunities which come across your table which you can't turn down. And like I say, this was an opportunity for me to do things. It's taken up a lot of my time. So I think the only fair thing to do was obviously give you a call and just explain that taking a back seat for a while and just seeing how things progress for me personally, trying to fit things into my days, nights, weeks, months, I think was the only right thing to do. And obviously, so I'm going to step away for a short while, give you and your next venture and your channel the utmost respect and respect what it deserves, and give you an opportunity to progress through yourself. And I think that was the only fair thing to do. But like I said, it was the hardest decision. I had conversations with my dad about it, with Sophie about it, with other people on social media about it, and it was that was the hardest bit. It was really difficult, a difficult decision to come to terms with, because it's not just that it's not doing it. They're doing it. It's the easy bit. 'Cause I love doing it. It's reading the comments, doing things with you. It's been amazing. But as I will tell you in a second, doing a podcast is not just turning up on a Monday night and a Friday night and just speaking for an hour and a half and just winging it. The amount of hours watching, organising, sorting out, getting guests, watching games, researching. It's hard work. So glad that I'm still going to be a part of the channel moving forward. But yeah, just going to have to just take a back seat for a little bit just to see how things progress for me personally.
So when you phoned me, it was like you get like a wave of emotions. First thing, I was so chuffed for you because I knew how much it would mean to you, the job and everything which goes with it. And then, as I was saying congratulations, it kind of dawned on me then slowly that you might not be able to do this anymore. And then, well, you know, we had a discussion which we don't need to go into the ins and outs of at the moment, but like basically, I knew that you wouldn't want to leave me kind of hanging, waiting to see if you were going to be able to do this and that and whatnot. I knew also that you want to do the podcast, but you've got a full-time job. You're going to be the Middlesbrough women's manager. And what, as just from my point of view, this is obviously like what I didn't want to be a case of is like the podcast, or wondering what you wanted to do with the podcast, be add into any stress or all the different things and make it more difficult for you. So I devised a plan, as you know, which I will kind of share with the viewers. And what I wanted to be able to do was to be able to like basically give you time to settle into doing whatever you're doing your Middlesbrough job, doing your full-time job, see how your schedule works out and how much time things take, and get used to get your feet under the table, isn't it? And get used to all that sort of stuff. But then also not feel like this door was closed and you couldn't just say, oh, actually, I can do this. If you were able to, I wanted you to be able to just literally go, do you know what? I'm settled in. I like it. I think I can do it. There's no reason why I couldn't do it. Great. So I devised the plan, which was from next Wednesday, there will be a new show, which is going to be a series of 5 to 6 weeks, which is Rodri Gigs on football, which is going to be myself and Rodri talking football on a Wednesday evening. We've still got to devise some of the ins and outs of that, but that's not what's important at the moment. So there will be a football show going forward. And then after 6 weeks, myself and Andy and Rodri, I nearly said Ryan then, Rodri, we'll have a chat and we'll see where we are and what's what. Most important thing for me was you, basically. And I wanted to give you every opportunity to be able to do everything which you want to do and you're able to do. And that was really important to me. So it is what it is. If in like 6 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever it was, you're not able to do it, that's not a problem. If you're able to do it, and fantastic, we get Series 3. Woo! Great.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give you, I don't know what you would call it, support, whatever. I don't know. I just wanted to do whatever I could to make things easier for you. And of course, bring in Rodri for 5 weeks, 6 weeks to do a different series. That's not, that's no booby prize by any means, because Rodri's phenomenal, as people know from the Euros. He's so fun. He's fantastic talking football, stuff like that. He's a lovely guy. And I get on well with him, which is great. So we will readdress, and of course, we'll keep the people informed and stuff like that. But I think most importantly, mate, I don't want to kind of get sidetracked with that new show at the moment. More information will follow. It's going to be on Wednesdays because Rodri can't do a Monday. There's a possibility that it might be a Friday, but it's probably going to be a Wednesday. We did want to keep it the same days, but stuff is just what it is, isn't it? And I hope everyone will join us for those shows as well, like they do every Monday and Friday. But what I want to do now, mate, is once you can say anything you want to add to what I've just said, we'll throw to some questions. If people want to ask Andy any questions about his job, the show, whatever, if they want to ask me anything like that, it's all good. It's a free and open forum, and then we're going to finish off with some football news, and as we would normally do. But anything you want to add to that, mate?
Well, listen, I think that was probably one thing what did make it a little bit easier for me. The conversation we had, obviously, after the Tuesday, and obviously you came with an idea on the Wednesday, I think it was, and then obviously the Wednesday things progressed. Thursday was more of a positive conversation, and it was a relief for me because it just took the pressure off a little bit. It just meant that I could just focus more on what I was going to do and just feel as though that not that I let people down, because I think this show's been amazing for everybody, amazing for my own mental health, amazing for my knowledge, amazing for talking with you, our friendship, the links that we've made with people, professionally, individually. So I think it's been great, and I have not regretted one show. We've had some amazing shows. I'm sure at the end we'll probably talk, or question might be which is the best one. So probably need to probably get your thinking cap on, because we just had so many amazing things what have happened, and looking at the screen now and seeing how it looks now to how it looked. I remember the first show that we did, or the first Zoom conversation me and you did. It was just, if anybody gets an opportunity, go on Instagram and have a look for the first one, because I put it on the story, which is always on in the archive stories, and it's ridiculous how it looks to write this in this current day. It's amazing. So it just shows the progress what's being made. It's amazing.
100%, mate. I just want to address a couple of comments quickly. So I should be very clear. Wednesday is penciled in. It's not 100%. There is because obviously normally Super Kev Unscripted, which is doing really well at the moment, and we've actually got a guest coming on there very soon. Anyone who saw social media will know where that is. But that's doing really well. There's a possibility that the show with Rodri might be on Friday, and the Super Kev Unscripted will be the Wednesday slot, because I know sometimes Wednesday is a bit easier than Friday for Kev, but we will work out the logistics. But they'll basically, yes, Reece, in some form he will be on. Wednesday and Friday will be the kind of new days going forward. Plus, of course, we've got other series. We're going to start recording My Story Series 3 and stuff like that. The Championship show is going to be on hiatus at the moment, unless something were to pop up where I could carry it on with someone who I felt was suitable to replace Andy for a while. Then that's the only way that's going to come back at the moment, unfortunately. But that, look, the Championship show was an add-on show because that's how we started. and wasn't it? It was Talking Championship, and
Yeah,
then of
how it
course
started,
it developed into this machine of incredible guests.
yeah.
And I think
Lockdown was quite kind to us, to be honest. So, in terms of podcasts.
Yeah, and I think there is a few options. I haven't closed the door completely on the Championship, but what I wanted to do first and foremost, I wanted to get a show with Rodri in and sort of ready, and then I will address anything else now. But like I say, I don't want to talk about that too much, but I will answer questions if people have got questions, of course. Yeah, Rai has just said the Championship show with viewers popping in would be quite interested. That is something I've thought about, but I think it can be difficult to navigate because obviously you haven't got control over what people say. And the last thing I want to do is have my YouTube channel deleted after working so hard because someone comes on, tries to be funny, says something ridiculous, and it's out of my hands completely. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's all up in the air in terms of the Championship show. But I mean, the thing is, and as well, like we were very, very lucky because we started off. It was like just a fun thing we did together. We developed like this friendship, and we just enjoyed talking about the Championship. And like you say, lockdown came, Championship stopped, and it was like, right, do we stop? Because we were just starting to get momentum in terms of live viewers and people getting involved, and it was really starting to gather a bit of steam. So we didn't want to go on a break because we didn't want to lose the momentum of people tuning in each week. So it was, and I think we'd not long gone live either on the Monday. So we said, well, we know a few people between the two of us. Let's get some people on. So I think we had Kev and we had Stuart Downing, and people loved it. And then it was like, right, okay, now we've got to start. And I think that's the other thing people forget, and is how difficult it can be to get guests and tie them down. Like, for instance, I won't name the person, but I was put in touch with a relatively big name, a legend of Cardiff City, if you will, a couple of weeks back. That person said yes, he'd come on, and I haven't been able to get a response since. And look, I'm not criticizing the person because they're all very busy. They got careers and media and all these different things. Of course, I'm not criticizing that person, just pointing out that it's incredibly difficult. Footballers are a rare breed. Me and you have this conversation, and we've even had a couple of, not arguments, but kind of back and forths about it, haven't we? Because like I've been so lucky that I've got quite a few contacts within the British MMA scene. So I've had these wicked MMA guests and boxing guests on that show. And then, of course, when I signed the contract with the Sports Social, some other avenues opened up to get some people from America and abroad. And like, these are some of the biggest names in the sport, which I've obviously releasing over this last week and the next week, these interviews, which I would never have been able to get before. And I had said to you, well, maybe they'll be able to help us out with football guests. And you were like, it won't happen because footballers are just different.
They are a different breed. Listen, and I think when it comes to live shows as well, it makes it even more complex. And you've got to have a different character to be open and honest about having chats about various things. And obviously the viewers, our usual viewers, who ask some fun and energetic questions to any one of the guests who we've had. I mean, put yourself in their shoes, that they're answering these questions. They don't know what's going to come because we don't know what's going to come. You know what I mean? So for the amount of people that we've had on the show, you know what I mean? Fair play to them, because there's been a lot who've said no. There's been a lot who've said that they like being paid, which we've never, since we've done this, we've never once paid anybody.
Refused a few
between us. So you know what I mean? That's credit to us that we didn't need to, because we knew how successful and how much effort and time that we put in. I think it was just really important that we put that across as well.
Yeah, I mean, and people have asked for money, mate, haven't they? Not just for this show. I've had people ask me for money for 15-minute interviews as well. Look, I get it. They want to they want to be paid for their time, I guess. But it is what it is. We don't pay for guests. And I think we've benefited by that because the people who come on want to come on. And when someone wants to do something, you find that they're a lot more open and honest and chatty about various things. So yeah, it's exciting, mate. I'm so excited for you. Like genuinely so excited for you. I'm just, of course, like I've never lied on here. I've always been honest, probably to a fault sometimes. But look, in that vein, I said to you, what was it? Probably 4 weeks ago. I said, don't book any guests after David Witha.
Yeah.
Because my health is bad. I don't know where it's going. And I don't want to book anyone in and then have to pull the plug because I don't want to mess people around and let them down and stuff like that. So this could have been a very, very different show. This could have been a show saying, I'm stepping away for a bit because my health is so bad, etc., etc. So let's be happy that this is a show saying you're stepping away for a bit because you've got this incredible opportunity to manage your hometown club in women's football that you're so passionate about. And we're all thrilled for you, mate. That's the way I'm trying to look at it. Doesn't mean that I haven't nearly cried a few times over the last 36 minutes.
And that's the pleasing thing for me. And you know what I mean, to see all the comments and just to be on here and do this the right way. I think it's the most important thing for me. You know, it's the reason why I set it up. We set it up to show to help other people. I think we've done that and more, and helped ourselves along the way as well. So it's been a blast. It's been a blast. It's not goodbye. What did they say? It's not goodbye. It's just farewell, isn't it? Is that what it's
so long? Not goodbye. It's just so long. Right. Second of all, third thing, three things, four things. I've just made a decision in the last 30 seconds. Probably shouldn't say this. I should probably discuss it with my wife first. There will be a football show on a Monday. There will be a show on a Wednesday, and there will be a show on a Friday. The Wednesday show will be like every other week, though. I should say as well. What I cannot tell you is what those shows will be. They will not be the same format as what like the Monday show is now. That's mine and Andy's baby. The Andy Campbell Football Show, if it doesn't come back anytime soon, will stay in the vault until Andy wants to or is able to come back. And if he can't because he's England manager, then it will stay in the vault and be fondly remembered as the best podcast the world has ever seen. It might be that the championship show's on a Monday with someone else. It might be that the Roger Giggs show is on a Friday and the Kev show is like every other week, whatever. I will sort it out and I will put out in the next couple of days. Again, I didn't want to talk about too much about what the channel's going to be because I wanted to put the focus on you, but people are asking, so it's difficult. Donna Perry says you'll be Wales manager.
The Wales woman manager, she's from Middlesbrough as well.
Yeah, never know, mate. Never know, mate. And look, lastly, a few people, like a million people have been asking about the live show. This is probably on hold for the time being. We will see, and we'll see how it pans out. A few of you know that I had some plans, but I want Andy to be able to do everything he needs to do. And I wouldn't have a live show if Andy couldn't be there. Because that to me is not like I could do an Ace Podcast Nation live show, but that's not what it's about. It's about the people who've been there alongside me and my partners building stuff up. So if Andy, Kevin, Danny were not going to be there, I wouldn't do it. Simple as that. So, and I'm not saying that it's not happening just because Andy's stepping away. There's a few other things, as I just mentioned, my health and, whatever else. But I do believe that one day you could be England manager. I said that to you the other day. I know you're fully focused on the job at hand, but you can't. I saw in the Euros how passionate an Englishman you are. is like, is that the dream, like long term, like the kid in you? And I'm not saying like you're looking beyond your station. I just mean as a kid, when you were in these like academies and Middlesbrough Academy and stuff, your dream would have been to play for Middlesbrough, play for England. You're retired now. If you can't play for England under over 40s, then is the England manager.
Listen, you know what I mean. I think my main priority is obviously that the job I've got in hand, which is going to be a tough job. Everyone knows how passionate I am about the area, hence why it was a no-brainer for me to get this job. Whatever's after that, if there is anything after that, then for me it's a bonus, because that means I've done a decent job. But for me, this is the first port of call is Sunday, and my priority is getting a positive result, because that means it gets the girls off to a positive start to the season, because it hasn't been great so far.
No. Right, last couple of questions for Andy. If you've got any questions for Andy, and they're not, you could ask me questions as well. I'm not going to answer any more questions about like the channel going forward or shows. That's going to come. I've said what I'm going to say about that. Any questions for me or Andy now? You've probably got about 5 minutes, and then we're going to talk. We've got to try and scratch around for a football story to talk about. Don't know what we're going to talk about. Kay Giles says, will you continue to teach?
Yeah, listen, my job's only part-time, so I'm still working in my same school. See how I just love my job with the kids as well. So it's I say my life's evolved very, very differently when I played professionally. But I say this is just an added on opportunity, which makes my point, as in how busy I'm going to be, even more so. You know, so I've got to obviously give the family some nights as well, because I'm going to be really busy. I'm obviously still playing football as well, so it's I'm running myself pretty thin. So it's going to be difficult, and sometimes certain things have to give, and that's basically the reason behind the decision.
Andy, Dave Smith says, what do you think the difference is from men's to women's football is?
Without stating the obvious, obviously money, and backing from obviously financial backing, which obviously is a hindrance, as in for women to start and to get the backing. But as I say, I've only had 2 training sessions. I've obviously watched a lot of women's football. Technically, they're absolutely fantastic, really strong. So I'm hoping if I can help that and help with certain other aspects of it. But I think there's more similarities than what people probably know and believe. And I think it's only from being an insider now that I see how professional the girls are in training. I see how determined they are, turning up. 2 training sessions already this week. A game on Sunday, turning up, working really hard, giving back, having a laugh, having a giggle, but still putting the legwork in and the miles in, and just shows how professional they are.
Indeed, mate. Donna said, what time do you play on a Sunday? Because she'd like to keep an eye on the scores. Is there any way to do they do like live streaming of the games on YouTube or anything like that?
I don't think there's any streaming of the game. But obviously I know obviously Graham, I'm not sure if he's still doing that. He might come back on, he might be watching. Doing the social media feeds. So obviously the social media is very good. It keeps everybody up to speed on what's going on. So people will be able to keep an eye on it. I know it's a similar league to Cardiff City. Well, Cardiff City are in obviously north and south. So if there's a possibility to get a game, or we're dreaming FA Cup game against Cardiff City, that'd be amazing.
That'd be amazing. What you need, mate, is like someone with a YouTube channel who could like stream it for you and stuff. Really, but unfortunately, you live too far away from me. Someone said you should do. We do a behind the scenes Boro women's team like they do the next Netflix series. What I could say is
that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Well, I am coming to Boro in the next month or two for a little weekend away. What I will do is I will take my camera and my microphone, and with the manager's permission, maybe we could sort something out with some interviews and some stuff. Because I'd like to think we could sort something out and shine a bit of a light on Middlesbrough and women's football, but also we can catch up with Andy Campbell while he's on hiatus as well, which would be quite nice. And of course, look, the other thing as well is I do many series. I'm always thinking of different series. And if I do a series, one of the first phone calls I'll make in terms of getting a guest on is probably Andy Campbell to see if he'll do it. So you might see him pop up here and there anyway.
Yeah.
Reese says, how do you like your teams to set up, Andy? Are you 4-4-2, 4-5-1, zonal marking, high press, counter? How are you going to set up, or what are your tactics?
I'm not going to give that away because obviously you don't know who's watching in terms of people around certain areas. But I'm very flexible in terms of what I expect. I think I think if you're quite rigid about one certain thing, you're expecting people to be one-dimensional, and I think the girls are too good for that. I think the girls have got a little bit of versatility in them. I think they're good enough to play various formations, tactics, ways of playing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing various things over the next few weeks.
Dan from Borough says, do you think we need to get Middlesbrough women playing in Middlesbrough instead of Billingham?
Listen, I think they're playing at in a good place. I think obviously the pitch is really nice, the setup's really nice at Billingham. So I think it's good for now. I think obviously there's plans in place. It'd be nice to get them obviously back in a home environment and a closer environment, but it is what it is. I think it's the chairman's got a tough job on his hands to keep everybody happy and everybody, but he's got his own aspirations. He's got his own dreams, and I bought into that.
If the kind of the men's and the women's come together, as you said, you're hoping that you can help progress. Like, do you think there would be a possibility in maybe a year or two to be able to play games at the Riverside if they were able to come together officially?
Well, Peter Newton asked the question there, didn't he? Just above, he said, "Do you think the men will join the Middlesbrough women's soon?" I believe the link will be made very quickly.
I can imagine Steve Gibson would want that as well. He seems like that sort of guy.
I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping with the excitement, what's being had this week with the announcement. I think I hope that they've been excited as well with the with all the news and with all the people getting involved. So for me, listen, I'd love to stand at the Riverside and watch the girls play there. If that was just for one game, I think it'd be really important for the club, really important for everybody concerned, and I'd absolutely love it. It'd be a dream come true for me personally. So it'd probably be bigger for me than it would be for the girls, because I'd be in dreamland.
And I'd be there watching for that first game, 100%. A couple of people have asked, so I'll combine the questions. Donna said, do you buy and sell the players? Craig said, is there a transfer window in women's football?
It obviously depends if people are on contract or non-contract. In the way that football can work, if people aren't on full contracts, you've got to do something called 7 days. So you put an offer into to a player or to a club, and that club has 7 days basically to come back with a decision that you can talk to the player. After 7 days, you can talk to the player, and then it's down to the player. If they say no, then you can't go and talk to the player again. So it's a difficult one. In terms of contracts, different. You've then got to get permission by the club, and then money's got to exchange hands and things. So it's a complex and a difficult situation. It's the same as men, predominantly.
Yeah. Absolutely, mate. Claire Baker, and I'm loving all these new viewers. Welcome to all of them. Claire Baker says, will you be getting involved with Teesside RTC?
Well, obviously the chairman's fully involved. So listen, any support or any help that I can give, I go above and beyond everything I do. You know what I mean? I've bought into this massively. So anything I can support with the progression and the improvements for the club, then obviously I'm doing it.
I can officially say that you do go above and beyond anything. Maybe ACE Podcast Nation sponsor Middlesbrough women's football team. Yeah, it's a good, interesting idea. See, there we go. It's because someone Holgate Dash said, "Is there any decent sponsorship in the women's football?"
Well, obviously WSL now, the game's on Sky, so people will see a lot more of the top end of women's football. So I think you'll see a lot of expansive quality football within the women's game. So I think that will show everybody how high a standard it is week in, week out. on the biggest stage. So for me, I think that'll be really good. I think if people can get down to games, if that's your local game, if that's obviously anybody in the Middlesbrough area, come to watch on Sunday against West Brom, 2:00 kick-off at Billingham Town. It'd be great to get you there. I said it's £3 to get in. It's nothing. Kids are free. So you know what I mean. In the next generation stuff for me, it's a no-brainer. And if you do come and say hello to me.
Yes, indeed. Right. So let's finish as we built the show, my friend. So before we were the AC Footy Show, we were the Andy Campbell Championship Show, first and foremost. Yep. That was our first name. And I'm going to just quickly throw to this question from Riverside. He said, did you approach them or did they approach you? Sorry if this has been answered a bit late to the pod.
No, listen. I got approached by the chairman. The chairman rang me very late on Monday, and then again on Tuesday, and then again on Tuesday, and then again on Tuesday, and then again on Tuesday. So it was I knew how keen he was. He knew how keen I was from an initial conversation. So it was all done very quickly. I was so keen. But yeah, no, it was all. I was approached, and I'm really pleased that we've all come to the decision for me to be in charge.
Yeah, and so as I was saying, the show started off me and you talking championship football. It evolved and changed, and it just changed generally. And then we went live, and things started to pick up real momentum then. And then lockdown happened. We changed the AC Footy Show, the guests. Then we did a Friday show and extended more because things were going so well, and they still are. And I think the other thing to say, mate, just before we go into the football stories, is obviously we had multiple things planned in terms of spin-offs and live shows and things like this. That doesn't mean, or this doesn't mean that they will never happen. It just means that they're on the back burner.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I'm sure you attest, we had plans galore, mate, didn't we? It's one of those, because things were going well. So we were always looking to improve. We were always looking to make things better, whether it was the aesthetic of how the show looked or having an intro, video clip and sponsors and whatever it may be. Yes, Danny Batten Fight Show is still on a Sunday, Donna. Never fear. Danny will still be there for you to get your weekly dose of Batten. He's funny, Danny is right. So, mate, I thought it'd be nice if we finished off with just talking football, mate. Having a bit of a Barney, talk a bit of football. I've got 2, maybe 3 stories that I want to talk to you. You know where I'm going to start because it's bloody obvious. But yesterday, I had about 1 million texts and things going, oh, you're going to be gutted. Cristiano Ronaldo's going to Man City. And I was like, no, he's not. He won't. And I knew it. And then I said to you earlier, this is just my opinion. Cristiano Ronaldo wanted out of Juventus. Real Madrid can't afford his wages again. And I think he wanted to come and finish his career in the Premier League. Man United, in the last 2 seasons, have moved away from signing like those kind of big name superstars like your Falcaos and your Zlatans and your Di Marias and that. They've moved away from that. So I believe that they initially said it's not really right for what we're building because on paper and it's probably not. So the next thing you know, he's on the brink of signing for Manchester City. That this morning then there was a few little posts by some reliable people. Oh, Man United have come in. Fergie's phoned him. Rio Ferdinand's phoned him. Rio Ferdinand said he put a very funny video up earlier. He said he phoned him and basically said, Cristiano, tell me it's not true. Tell me it's not true. And they had a little conversation. Cristiano Ronaldo has gone back to Manchester United. In my opinion, and by the way, Cristiano Ronaldo signed for Manchester United for 12.8 million plus add-ons. The guaranteed add-ons take it to 20 over the next year or so. The amount of money that they've spent on Heaton, Sancho, Varane, and Ronaldo is less than what Arsenal have spent on Ben White and Ramsdale, and I think someone else as well. Who has got the better deal? Do you believe my theory that Ronaldo baited Manchester United into signing him because he wanted out of Italy? And is it a good signing for Manchester United?
First and foremost, I think it's a signing of the season. I think it's amazing. It's an opportunity for United to become title contenders overnight. I agree there with Riverside. I don't believe the transfer fee will be paid. I believe the whole deal, including wages, signing on fees, everything will be paid for and more with his name and his shirt sales alone. So, you know what I mean? It's not a deal. It's the same as Messi deal. Those kind of deals, they're investment because they know they're going to get him back. It's not a risk. The risk and reward. The reward, they know they're going to get the money back. They know they're potentially going to win more games because he's going to score goals. He's going to get them trophies. So for me, it's no risk whatsoever. It does give them a huge improvement on the squad. I think that for me, they were a centre forward away from competing. Now they're not. Now they've got it exactly for me. So I think they've got a centre forward, stroke attacking midfielder, stroke someone who can score with set pieces and who's so good in the air, and the wingers and the delivery that United have got. For me, puts them onto another level. I think it's potentially going to be a bad thing for other teams. And I said to you off air that I believe Man City will go and sign someone big now. If that's Harry Kane, if that's somebody else, I believe now they'll go and get somebody. I don't think he was ever going to Man City. I don't believe he's ever spoke to Man City. I just think it was a bit of a smoke screen.
I think he spoke to him, but I think I do believe that Pep didn't want him. I think it was the owner. Yeah. And I think that's the first sign that Pep is in the latter stages of his Manchester City career, because they've got that team, haven't they, of the ex-Barcelona people who do the transfers. And I do believe that Ronaldo going to Man City was purely the owner and a bit of a, what's the word? Like an ego thing. Like if he could get Ronaldo.
But it gives them the bragging rights, whereas for me, they've always had the bragging rights.
They would have put a sign up like they did with Tevez, 100%.
Yeah, they've had the bragging rights on the pitch. So for me, they don't need the bragging rights off the pitch as long as they can do it on the pitch. Where for me, at the minute, and I think that's going to give United a little bit of a stepping stone with the other players at the time, by the way, because I don't think Ronaldo alone would have won them any silverware. But when they've got Varane and you've got Sancho, for me, the missing piece was always going to be a centre forward. If that was a late bid for Harry Kane, then fabulous. But for me, they've gone one better. So it's shrewd business by United. Absolutely fantastic. And people question the backroom at United. They question the Glazers. They question the owners. They question the CEOs.
Can Solskjaer sign big name players?
How on earth can they question anything what the club does now when they make a statement like this is beyond me.
Yeah, I think it's a weird one, mate, isn't it, really? Like, how over the last, particularly with United, over the last 10 years, how you've never seen a move a transfer that quickly. They've taken months and months to do transfers, United do. And like Wood was notorious for missing out on people because he took so long. And then Woodward's gone, and this Johnny guy, Johnny Murta, I think his name is, has come in. He signed Ronaldo in 24 hours, mate. Like,
the thing is, I think it's easy when you've got a relationship with a club and an affiliation.
I think it's easy when Fergie gets involved as well.
You know what I mean? Exactly. You don't know who started the initial conversation. If Alex Ferguson rings up Cristiano Ronaldo, he gets a deal done straight away, and just there's no going back then.
So, I had a quick chat with someone earlier who is very reliable when it comes to Man United stuff. Obviously, you know who I speak to. And he was told that this is basically in place because they want Haaland next summer. They know they're only going to get 18 months, probably 2 years out of Ronaldo, even though he's unbelievable. Haaland and a central defensive midfielder. The one person who's probably is going to suffer now is Trippier. They're under the impression that Kieran Trippier probably won't be signed now, whereas he was going to be at the end of the window. But this has probably taken that away, which I feel really sorry for Kieran Trippier, because he's bought a house in Manchester because he wants to but his family back up north and stuff like that. He's a Man United fan. It was all in place. And Ronaldo has kind of popped up, probably not planned, and may have cost him a move. It's one of those things, mate, isn't it? So the next story,
you can't do anything about that. It is a shame, but the club can't turn down an opportunity which crosses a path like this. Not a chance.
So you look at that United squad now, right, with Ronaldo. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. If they don't sign anyone else this summer, which I'm not entirely convinced they won't, I still think they'll sign a sort of defensive midfielder. Can that side win the league now?
I think they'll be. Yeah, I think they can. I think they'll be more competitive. I think for me, it puts them in line with the Chelseas of this world, because if anybody watched Chelsea against Arsenal the weekend, you see how much of a difference Lukaku made to their team. He got hold of the ball, he made things happen. And for me, Ronaldo can do that as well. You know what I mean? There's the missing link. I thought Chelsea were miles away. I'll be honest. So, I thought they were miles away. But now with putting Lukaku in that position, he was brilliant. And
obviously Cavani. There's been rumours that Cavani might go now to the Boca Juniors now rather than next summer. John Bywater says no, they won't win the league. Tell me why, John. I'm really interested in people's opinions on that. Because, and the next question, and how many goals do you think Ronaldo scores in the Premier League in 2021?
I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure. I think the league's a lot more difficult than it was the last time he was here. I think defences have got a lot better. I think teams have got a lot better. I think he'd probably be happy with 20 plus. You know what I mean? And that's probably low on his standards. But for me, yeah, I think he'd be happy with that. And if he got 20 plus, it's more than United have been getting anyway. So that's added on extra.
If he gets 20 plus, Sancho, Rashford normally gets 15 to 20. Sancho gets numerous assists. You've got Fernandes, scores a lot of goals. They got a lot of goals in their team. Be interesting what happens with Martial. Just very quickly going back to Harry Kane, because there is another story which I want to ask you about. I believe Man City will panic now because Man City need a striker. They need an out-and-out striker. Ronaldo would have fitted that bill, plus you have all the extras which would have come with it. In my opinion, they will go and throw 180 million, 200 million at Tottenham and say, we want Harry Kane. Because money doesn't matter to them. Their owners have got so much money that they can do that. So it'll be interesting. I think Tottenham completely stitched up Harry Kane. I thought making him put a statement out the way they did and the way he put it out, I thought that they not only stitched him up, I thought they hung him out to dry. And for a player who's given so much to Tottenham Hotspurs and conducted himself so well up until recently, should we say, I thought it was absolutely disgraceful. And
I feel for Harry Kane. Yeah, I feel for Harry Kane in terms of if Man City come up with a big enough bid, he's going to go. And with him just coming out with a comment that he's not going to leave, I think it'll make him look even more stupid than he's probably made himself look by not going to training and things. It's just been handled really badly. And with this move, this isn't no one's fault, by the way. It's not Spurs' fault. It's not Harry Kane's fault. It's not Man City's fault. But Man City need a player now. They're desperate. And who's the player who's available? Probably Harry Kane. You know what I mean? At the right price. And probably and the right price is probably over and above beyond what he's worth, unfortunately, for Man City fans. But I think for Spurs, they'll get everything what they need and more, but then they'll be left short potentially of a very good centre forward. So.
Indeed. So the other story I wanted to talk to you about is Kiefer Moore, Wolverhampton Wanderers. They've been lurking around Kiefer Moore with not very good bids. I think one of them was 8 million for Kiefer Moore. Cardiff are never going to sell for that much. However, if you take yourself back to the Euros, I said when Cardiff signed Collins that I believed that Kiefer Moore was probably going to be sold at the last minute, because if he gets sold at the last minute, the fans, yes, they can be up in uproar and they can moan and they can thing, but the window's shut, so the club can kind of fall back on that. Whereas if he had been sold at the start of the summer and they didn't replace him, there's a lot of time in that window where the fans can kind of, and the newspapers and the media can put pressure on. So that's why I think, and I do believe that if Wolves up their bid to 12 to 15 million, that Cardiff City will sell him. That's an interesting one. Sorry, just to add to that. So I'll add this because that's really interesting to me. Matthew just said 10 million plus Ryan Giles in exchange for Kiefer Moore. So everything which I just said plus that as a suggestion, would you take that?
I'd probably still expect more money. I think we're not giving probably enough credit.
Right,
I'd probably say closer to 15, because for me, you're on about transfer values, and the transfer window, you always get a little bit more anyway. So, I look at the bigger picture. Is he going to play if he goes to Wolves? No. You know what I mean? For the players that they've got and the way that they play straight away. So, you know what I mean? I think it's a difficult one. You know what I mean? Normally clubs will have a plan in place if they get rid of a player to bring somebody in straight away. So I hope Cardiff have got that plan in place, but it's going to be a very, very late plan in place if it is a plan. I know clubs like to leave their business to the last minute, but it's very risky business because it can affect your whole season, unfortunately.
Yes, indeedy. Okay, so we are at the end of the show. It feels like the end of an era, but we don't know that yet. We'll see. We'll see how things pan out and go and whatnot. Well, first and foremost, what I want to say is I want to say thank you so much to everybody who supported the Andy Campbell Football Show and the Championship Show. And hopefully we will see you again in this format very soon, but we'll see. And the other thing I wanted to say, Andy, is not only has it been a pleasure, mate, it's been an absolute honour. And it's been one of my favourite periods of my life.
Thanks very much. Listen, Si, it's been amazing. When you first asked me to do it, it was absolutely fantastic. A great opportunity to have some fun with someone who we got on with really well, and someone who we just clicked straight away. As one of my best mates now. It's great, and I think these kind of things which you get and you get to know someone inside out. You know the families, and for me this has been the best part. And yeah. This isn't the end. So let's leave on a high. You know what I mean? The show's amazing. It's got some other great shows. So everyone just keep supporting, and keep on track to what's going on with me, because as I say, I'll be very visible on social media and things as well. So just keep an eye out.
Indeed. And like I said to Andy, go back and have a look at the comments. There's some amazing comments on Facebook and YouTube, mate. Sunday, Danny Batten Fight Show, 8:00. We have title contender Luke Shanks joining us. I can confirm that the Rodri Gig show will be on Fridays. Anything else will be confirmed in the next couple of days. I'll let you know. But I'm hoping that the championship show is going to be on a Monday now. But that depends on, it might just be me on my own. It might be me and someone. We'll see how we go. See what I feel like. See how I'm feeling. Because at the moment, I don't want to think about doing football shows with anyone but Andy. And that's making it blow. Andy Campbell, congratulations. New Middlesbrough women manager. All love, my friend. Take it easy, people.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
It's in! Campbell comes off the bench to be a hero, a superhero. Great through. It's taken a while. It's been worth the wait.
We are the ones who mark a new beginning.